Hey everyone, it's Tim Reha here at the Digital Health Summit Live studio at the International Consumer Electronics Show. I think they just call it CES now. 2014. We just got off of a really cool panel called Trackaholism. I got that one.
Got it that time.
And is it a disorder worth having? So, Leslie Ziegler, you have a really interesting background. Why don't you tell about yourself?
Yeah, so I was, I am Leslie, and I am also a trackaholic. So, was on the founding team at Rock Health, and now I'm working with some companies that are very interesting to me, like NeuroTrack, which has an Alzheimer's diagnostic, and MC10, which makes conformal electronics. So, really incredible companies. Better that's transforming the way care is delivered. Still kind of stealthy, but I also took a year and actually quantified myself entirely. Yeah, I have every single data point you would possibly want about my life.
How did you do that?
Through about 80 different apps and devices. So I think that's why Jill asked me to moderate this panel. Is I was down in the trenches.
Have you connected up with Larry Smarr? He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Larry Smarr and I totally grossed people out over dinner talking about yes.
You've gone that deep then.
Oh yeah, Larry's a neat guy.
So what was happening inside the panel?
Well, so we had, it was a great group. We had a couple device manufacturers that, could talk freely about kind of, what they were doing and the form factor of these different technologies. We had the CEO of Soylent, which I don't know if you know you know about Soylent. Oh, yeah. It's a meal replacement supplement. It's not even a supplement. It's just an entire replacement, which I actually would have been very happy to have during my year of self-tracking because food was the biggest pain.
I hear it's really interesting with Soylent. It's how would you describe it? It's like a milkshakey.
Yeah, it's you basically just drink all of your meals.
Yeah.
I would really miss chewing. I think that would be. I'd have to freeze it or something.
Can you drink wine too, or that doesn't count?
I don't. I think it's Soylent. It's Soylent and Soylent only. Yeah.
You wouldn't like that then. All right. So, what were some of the hot potato questions going around the panel?
Well, I think one that I really, that's important to me is kind of who owns the data. So we've got all these devices, we've got all these data streams. What are we doing with it? How are we making it meaningful? But then ultimately, who owns it, and how are we going to use that responsibly?
And how do you federate it or pull it together? So what did you do with your own experience?
I have a giant spreadsheet, and I have a giant spreadsheet, and I'm actually, I don't know if you know Linda Avey, she was a co-founder of 23andMe. She has a new company called Curious, and that's actually exactly what they're doing. So they're pulling together genetic, environmental, and self-tracked data, and then, hoping to extrapolate meaning and make sense of all that for us.
I saw something like human API down the Bay Area.
Yep, humans another. I think they were actually out of the Netherlands.
Netherlands?
Yeah.
Okay. Not everything's from the Bay Area.
You know what? Not everything good comes from San Francisco, although many things do.
Yeah, awesome. So, I don't know, what's your take? It's 2014. We're seeing a lot of companies coming out here. Is it hype? Are we in a healthcare bubble, or what's going on here?
There are big problems to solve, so I don't really see it as a bubble. I think that, certainly if we look at the form factor of these different technologies, they're all wristbands. We're not seeing enough. I mean, would you allow someone to implant a health device?
I already got one.
Did you? No. Sweet.
I don't know. I was in the rag business making clothing a while back, doing some interesting stuff in that. So I think it depends. Now, I don't know with the NSA though, tracking everything else.
Well, I think that comes back to who owns your data and what are people doing with it, right? But I think that the form factor question is one that we really have to answer. It's a lot of me too with the wristbands and with that. So I think let's reframe. It's a wristband bubble.
Yeah, I think so too. I love what MC10 was doing.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, conformal electronics, it's, if you look at the two, so I'm a designer by background actually, and that patch is made for the way the human body works. It's not made to fight it. Yeah. So bends and flexes, stays on, low cost, all the good stuff. And it's not a piece of plastic that kind of slams on your keyboard when you...
So as a designer, I'm curious to get your radar on what Apple's doing, because they've been rolling up a lot of fashion executives.
Well, I think we're all wondering what Apple's doing, always. I mean, clearly they're going to have some kind of smartwatch, right? What's more interesting to me is the question of what happens with the iPhone. They patented a number of different technologies. I think one was a cardio measurement technology. So, they've got the accelerometer, they've got a ton of stuff already built in. But the potential of the device that you already carry around with you all the time to become your self-tracking device. There's a company called Moves that is an app that basically does the same thing that Fitbit does. That adds like a GPS tracking layer. It's really cool. But, this question of, do people really need another device, or should it just all live on your phone?
Yeah, interesting. I know Samsung's doing some interesting stuff. Well, Leslie, how do people get in touch, follow you? I know you're just a treasure trove of information. I'm going to be hitting you up.
I'm Leslie JZ on Twitter is probably the best way to get me.
Nice. Okay, well, thanks for being part of the family and helping moderate the panel. Is awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Jill. She puts on a great show, that Jill Gilbert.
All right, follow Gilbert Guide and check Leslie out online. My name's Tim Reha. Thank you.
Thanks.